Hello, and welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to see you here.
I have a few questions about your book you just brought out. Hidden Figures. It's quite the story.
Yep, it definitely is.
So, a few questions for you. Okay, can you relay the most important plot points for our readers?
Okay, so it's kind of hard to put into words because there are so many different characters in this story. But let's just go from the beginning. In the beginning, we were introduced into just the typical time period and these people who had these segregated jobs. So we're introducing segregation and how a lot of dark-skinned people had really just awful jobs. They were maids, they were laundry washers, and a lot of these characters actually started off being teachers, which is one of the best jobs that you can have when just concerning your skin color. And so our character Dorothy was actually introduced as used to be like math teacher, and then she got interested in science and math when NASA came out and started giving out jobs for tons of other people, which was really cool. And she signed up, and initially she had gone through a lot of problems because of signing up for NASA, including all the other characters that had to go through just these really awful people that were telling them that they couldn't do anything. But then they finally got their job, and they were put down as computers, which are these people who were doing math and just equations for all of these other higher ranking officers. And then after that, there were really small amounts, there were really small situations that happened that were introducing the main idea of the story, including like the bathroom incident between Catherine and her workmates when she was not able to use the bathroom that was closest to her headquarters after she got moved there because of her rank, and she had to walk like about a mile, I believe. Yeah, just a really long walk to get to her bathroom. And then after that, just more events like that kept on popping up, like these people taking down these segregation signs, and because they were really annoyed. They were in their workplace and they were being told that they couldn't do anything even though they were helping for the greater good. So just stuff like that kept on happening. They became friends with their bosses, who got annoyed at the fact that all of their other co-workers were acting as though nothing wrong was happening when these people were being treated so awfully. So stuff like that. And then later,
can you name out all of the characters, the main characters in the book, and then which one you liked the most?
Yeah, so there were so many characters to list off, but the ones that I can name off the top of my head for now are Dorothy Vaughan, who was the main character in the beginning that I was talking about earlier. We have, let's see, Catherine Johnson, who was a very, very important secondary character who became like more of a main. And then her friends Mary, I think Jackson, and there was one other one.
Maybe we call Christine Darden.
Yes, Christine, but she was very secondary. She was rarely ever spoken about in the book. But I know that she was very good friends with all of these other people, and there were about like 6 other characters that were minor, but they were good friends with these women too. So.
And your particular favorite?
My particular favorite was Dorothy. So the perspective went on to Catherine more in like the second half of the book, as some readers know, but in the beginning it was really intriguing to watch as Dorothy was going through all of these problems. She defied everybody's expectations of her, and she grew farther and farther because of all these accusations that were being pushed at her. So, and she was a very, you know, low-speaking person. She wouldn't talk very much, but just to watch her grow in her ranking, and just be above everything and spit out all of the other accusations that people had for her was just admirable. It was very exceptional, and I can say that that was true for all of the characters in the book, but especially her.
What would you say was the central conflict of the story? I know we went over it, but, you know, in your words, what was the worst conflict they had to endure?
The worst conflict, I think, for everybody was just the segregation laws and just these racist and sexist people that they were working with, you know, because these women, you know, not only were they dark-skinned, but they were women, and at that time a lot of men were shocked at how women wanted to have harder jobs. They thought that women couldn't do math. Dark-skinned people, you can't trust them, or something along those lines, and it's just, that was one of the main conflicts of the book that thankfully got resolved once these women were finally recognized for everything that they did for NASA at that time. So.
Well, our time's almost up, but here's one more question. What do you think the theme would be?
Okay, for me, at least, the theme for me is to never listen to accusations. Never let these accusations break you down. So when someone is telling you that you can't do it because of this difference that you have between someone else.
Your gender.
Yeah, your gender, your skin color, your religion, anything. If people are attacking you for being who you are, just never listen, because they're never right about you. You are you, and you're the one who knows the most about you. So, you know, these women were going through just these men telling them, one, oh, I can't trust you because you have dark skin, and you're new to this job, so who knows how smart you are. And then two, these men were saying things like, you're a woman, how can you understand math? And each time these women defied those expectations and all of these trust issues that they had. And I think at one point it was Catherine, I think, who moved on from being partial enemies with this other person in her workspace when she moved up in rank, and they became best friends after he came back because he realized that she was going to be working there. The biggest point here is that you need to work together to make sure that the entire company can, you know, move up.